Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Conversations with the Royal Butler. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all the feedback I had from the last conversation, which was all about my time and memories with the late Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. In fact, I was overwhelmed at the feedback, the comments, the views, everything. It was just amazing. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch it and to respond to me. There has been some questions since obviously I filmed that, and one question that came up in particular was what will happen to his title, and I'm sure many of you know that it is going to go to his youngest son, Prince Edward, but some of you might not know that what's actually happened is that when the Duke died, his title went straight to Prince Charles, so technically it's now one of Prince Charles's titles, Duke of Edinburgh. However, Prince Charles is not going to use it, and the agreement, from what we all understand, that with the Queen, the late Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Charles and Prince Edward, is that when the Queen, and let's pray it's many, many years from now, but when the Queen is no longer with us, when she dies and Prince Charles becomes king, he will then make his younger brother the Duke of Edinburgh. So that's what's going to happen to the title. For anyone it's for the title, for anyone it's of you that's been asking, that's exactly what will happen in the years to come. So, as I've mentioned, the conversation with the Royal Butler episode last week was so successful, I thought, why not do another one? And there's a very good reason to do another one, because this week we see our Queen celebrate her 95th birthday. And I thought it'd be quite fun, once again, to sit down and have a conversation with all of you about my memories, experiences and time with the Queen. The first thing I get asked by many people is, what on earth made you want to work for, well, how did you get to work for the Queen? What made you want to work for the Queen and members of the royal family? Well, the simple answer is, I was a very strange child. When I was a youngster, my parents were very much royalties, if I can say that, and they would take me off to Balmoral Castle during holidays and things, and especially in the summer holidays, early autumn, when the Queen was up at Balmoral, we would go up and hopefully try to catch a glimpse of her. So I'd always had a lot of respect and admiration for the Queen and members of the British royal family. And then I remember in the early 1990s, we watched a documentary called ER, and it was all about the Queen and her family. And I remember saying to my late father, how do you become a member of the royal family? And my father said, well, you either marry into them or you work for them. And I remember thinking, well, who could I marry? Which is, back then, it might not seem silly now, but back then it just was unheard of. You know, somebody in my position would never marry a royal. It just didn't happen. It was always royals and aristocrats. Of course, today, very different world, you know, very different time. But back then, it was quite an unusual thing probably to say. And I also remember with my careers teachers, I would go and have kind of conversations with them about what I would like to do. And the other thing I wanted to do when I was younger was to become an actor. And so I remember sitting with this particular career teacher once and saying that I was thinking of wanting to become an actor, and she kind of put me off the idea because she said it's really difficult, it's not an easy thing to kind of go into. And then she said, do you have anything else you'd like to do? And I thought, well, I can't say, you know, I want to become a member of the royal family. So I said to her, I'd just watched a movie around at the same time called Remains of the Day, all about this butler and looking after this family, and I thought, well, that looks quite an interesting career, to be a butler, and again, maybe that's a way in to work for the royal family. So this is how I was thinking. So I said to the careers teacher, I'm thinking of maybe trying to become a butler. And she said, yes, okay. So to become an actor, we could probably find you some very good drama skills. So obviously she just felt that was impossible. But to me, it wasn't. It was something I thought that could be done. So much so that I even wrote to the Queen on a few occasions to make her aware of who I was. I even sent her my picture just so she knew what I would look like when I eventually turned up at the doorstep. And to my parents' shock, I got responses on both occasions. Not direct, well, from the Queen, but not in her handwriting. It was actually from her lady-in-waiting. I believe it was there was a couple of lady-in-waitings, but one of them was a lady, Susan Hussey, who's still with the Queen today. And it was amazing to get these really nice responses, and it kind of gave me this drive that maybe it is possible. Maybe I could one day somehow be part of the British royal family. Now, the other unusual part to this, as some people call it, an extraordinary story, is that when I was about 19, my mother got a job working at a private house in Scotland, and they were oddly enough looking for somebody to help on the housekeeping team. So I jumped at the opportunity, thinking what a great opportunity, and within about 2 weeks they discovered that I really wanted to be a butler, and they actually did have butlers, and so I had the opportunity to train under them in Scotland. But the sad part is that I started on the 1st of September, officially the 1st of September 1997, the day after Princess Diana was killed in the car crash in Paris. And it kind of, at that point, I decided that not just did I just want to work for the British royal family and obviously for the Queen and Prince Charles, I wanted to look after and protect Princes William and Harry. It was almost like, I just wanted to kind of be able to do something to help them, and I know it sounds strange, but protect them. And so this kind of, again, ambition stayed with me for the next few years. I completed 2 years at this house in Scotland, and then I got the opportunity to go and work for the Marquess and Marchioness of Tavistock, and eventually graduated to the position of butler there at Woburn Abbey. And then a position came up with the royal household, with the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall. I had written to them before, and then I heard through my mother that they were looking for a butler. So I applied, and after many months of interviews, I got a position. And working for the Prince, I had the opportunity to also look after, obviously, his family, Duchess of Cornwall, Princes William and Harry, and of course the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh, and again other members of their family. And this was the dream come true. And I remember kind of going around pinching myself for about a year, thinking, I've actually done it. I've actually got the opportunity to be part, because you are a member of the royal household, and it's such a huge honour. Now, the first time I think I probably met the Queen was on horseback. I was on the Balmoral estate riding in the summer. I want to say it was the summer of probably 95, and I had the opportunity to kind of go riding on the estate, and during the ride we actually came down this kind of hill near the castle, and there was some corgis, and sure enough nearby was the Queen. I must confess I didn't actually know it was corgis. I thought it was rats or rabbits or something, and I started kind of panicking, and then somebody said no, it's corgis, and then I realised, oh, if that's the corgis, the Queen must be nearby, and sure enough she was just over to the side. It was an amazing moment. But over the years I've had many opportunities to spend time with the Queen, and again have the honour of getting to know her, from being introduced to her at Kew Palace, as I mentioned before, with Prince Philip. I was introduced to both by the Prince of Wales, to being invited to the Gillies Ball in Scotland and having the opportunity again of dancing with them. But I think when I think about all the kind of the memories and times that I got to spend with her, I mean, there's some that do stick out. I mean, it was always a huge honour whenever I had the opportunity, if there was a dinner that I was involved in and the Queen was there, and I'd have the honour of going and announcing dinner, going into the room and letting her know, and then kind of walking with her to the dining room and having the opportunity to have a conversation, or to talk about all sorts of kind of things. And but it became, what was funny is it became normal. Eventually it just became, that was part of what I now do. I remember one of my favourite memories was at the Queen's 80th birthday, which was an amazing occasion. 15 years ago today, because today is the Queen's 95th birthday, and it would have been today 15 years ago that I attended a garden party at the palace and got to spend again time with the late Duke of Edinburgh briefly, and with the Queen. And it was such an honour on her 80th birthday to be with her and actually have the opportunity to kind of, can I say, have a chat. And I think from memory we talked about the gardens, and she was kind of telling me which parts to go and what parts to go and look at. You know, it was amazing, such an amazing occasion. And what was even more amazing is that you don't often have pictures taken with members of the royal family. It just doesn't happen, because you're working for them, and it's not really right to suddenly say, oh, can I have a picture with you? It just doesn't happen. So if there's a photographer and a picture's taken, it's pure chance, pure luck. However, at the Queen's 80th, there was a photographer there, a lady called Anna Phillips, who's become a friend, and Anna took some amazing pictures of me and the Queen, and those are the pictures that many of you will have seen either on my social media or possibly on television shows and programmes over the years. Those were her pictures, which she very kindly has given me permission to reshare with all of you and with the programmes that I'm involved in. And again, I feel really lucky to have those pictures, because I look at them and they just bring back such wonderful memories with her. And the other thing that was really nice about the Queen was her humour. She also, I remember on that occasion, you know, she would sometimes say things, and you know, it would make you kind of giggle. You know, she's got a wonderful way about her, and there's so much footage now of this. She's obviously, a lot of you know her as the Queen, and you see that official side to her, but she has got that other really fun, humorous side to her, which I absolutely loved. And some of you might be thinking, really, but there's now footage, dare I say, even on YouTube, of the Queen's kind of humour and how she is as a person behind closed doors. And that's, again, it would help people like myself, especially when I was new, because it made you feel relaxed around her. So when she did something or said something funny, or, you know, it suddenly made you kind of realise that you were part of this amazing organisation, part of this royal household, and she felt comfortable. I think it was always a good sign, because you knew that she was comfortable around you and happy to kind of speak quite freely around you and to show you that kind of humorous side. I mean, there's some great stories I've heard over the years. Again, I'm always referring back to Scotland. It's not because it's my home, but I did spend a lot of time up there with the royal family, and you know, you used to hear some great stories. Some of you probably know the Queen still drives to this very day. She's a very good driver, I'll quickly add. And I remember hearing a fantastic story where she was driving from Balmoral Castle to the local town, and there was the post, I think it was the post lady, was on the way to obviously deliver the mail, and the roads up there are quite narrow, quite skinny, and the post van and the Queen, they did not know it was the Queen, and they kind of almost kind of met, and from what I understand, the post lady kind of got the Queen to reverse all the way back down the road to the lay-by, and when she saw it was the Queen, I think she was absolutely horrified. I think she just about didn't know what to say or what to do, and luckily the Queen found it quite kind of funny and was very kind of relaxed about it, which just shows you that despite who she is and everything about her, she's got just such a lovely way about her, such a lovely personality. I must also share with you, I remember once going to Balmoral Castle before I actually worked for the family, and my father was driving. My father absolutely adored the Queen and the royal family, and I remember as there must have been a reason we were going to the castle, and I can't really remember what it was, but as I said, we were driving up the driveway to Balmoral, and there was the Range Rover coming down, and my father suddenly realised he was coming face to face, same as this post lady, face to face with the Queen, but he recognised the Queen. And my father, being a typical kind of wanting to make sure he did everything right, decided to take us off the road because it was safer than the Queen running off the road, and almost kind of ran us down a little track, and I'm amazed the car didn't roll and things. And I remember thinking, okay, that's dedication. He saw the Queen coming and he got out the way. Almost, Lord knows what would have happened to us, but that was his love for the Queen. But we always kind of had a laugh about it, and I think we made sure that, I think the Queen probably appreciated it. Probably she was quite worried about the fact she saw this car suddenly disappear into the overgrowth, but probably quite appreciated the fact that we got out the way. But that was my father for you. So there's many great memories and occasions, and some of them I don't share because they are too private. But there's lots of kind of memories that I'm sure from time to time, if you want me to do more of these kind of conversations, and when there's special occasions, I'll remember them, and love to be able to kind of share them with you. Another occasion I'd love to share with you, if I may, was I remember being asked to do the Queen and Prince Philip's 60th wedding anniversary dinner at Clarence House, and it was such another amazing occasion because you had all senior members of the royal family, so it was an opportunity for me to, well, obviously get to meet the whole family and be involved in this very special meal. And at the end of it, we were given the opportunity to meet the Queen, Prince Philip, and members of the royal family, and if they wanted, for them to have the opportunity to say thank you to us for being involved in the meal, which I always thought was amazing, because you're paid to do a job, but yet they were always so grateful. Always said please and thank you, and they really are the masters of etiquette, politeness, manners. And so I was in this lineup, and I remember the Queen kind of walking down, speaking to everyone, and she got to me and she stopped in front of me. And again, this is one of the earlier kind of memories that I have with the Queen, and so it was a huge thing because suddenly thinking the Queen's going to speak to me. And I remember the Queen kind of walked up to me and stopped in front of me, and I was so nervous because I didn't know what am I supposed to am I supposed to say anything, do anything? And she looked at me and she spoke to me, and I was so nervous I couldn't quite remember what she had actually said, because it was just a thing that the Queen's speaking to me. And I couldn't quite understand, because I was so nervous. I think I just didn't really listen properly, and then she looked at me waiting for a response, and I'm thinking, what do I say? So I just looked and said, "Yes, Your Majesty," and she went, "Oh," and then carried on. I still don't know what I agreed to. I probably agreed to something, but I've no idea. Anyway, one of the other chefs turned round to me after she had gone and said, "What an amazing opportunity. The Queen has just come up to you, stopped and spoke to you. What an honour. What did Her Majesty say?" And I remember looking at them and saying, "I'm terribly sorry, but I couldn't possibly divulge what Her Majesty had said to me. I just couldn't." But the reality was, I couldn't actually remember. I used to, on occasions, get to travel with obviously members of the royal family across the country, and there was an occasion where the royal train was going to Wales, and I had to meet the train when it came in, and I remember being on the platform with one of the chaps that worked there, and we were kind of, obviously they'd been security cleared and everything, and he was there, and he was aware that the Prince of Wales was on the royal train, which is why I was there. But what he didn't know was that the Queen was on the train, and as the train came in, and there was the red carpet was there and all the officials moved forward, he said to me, this is such a huge thing for him, because he said here we are in Wales, and he said, and my Prince of Wales, is about to go off the train. He said it's just such a huge thing being able to, because he was quite close, because he was standing next to me, and he said it's quite an amazing opportunity. And I remember looking at him and saying, "But you know who else is on the train?" And he looked at me and said, "No." And I said, the Queen. I said, "The Queen's going to step off the train in a minute." And he looked at me, and he was, I think he was going to start crying, because he was just so overwhelmed at the fact that he was going to see the Queen it was such a big thing. You know, he was just so proud of this moment. And he stood next to me, or kind of close to me, when the Queen and Prince Charles came off the train, and he watched them, obviously, and they obviously saw me. And I remember, I think I had to get something from the Prince, and so the Queen kind of walked over and you know, obviously acknowledged me and acknowledged this chap, because he was obviously close to me. And for him, you know, kind of said hello or something, and for him, it just made everything. It was wonderful. Really, I mean, it was such an amazing thing to witness and to see what the Queen can do, you know, how much it can mean to people. And anyway, off they go, and he told me it's something, for him, for the rest of his life, it is a memory that he will forever cherish. It's something that he will, you know, he said it's something I will never forget. And that's what members of our British royal family do to people, and especially the Queen. I think the Queen has got such a wonderful way about her, and it's something that people don't forget. The other thing about the Queen, or one of the last things I'm going to share with you, is that whenever I've seen the Queen since, and I've been lucky enough to have been to different events since leaving the royal household, and when I see her, it's quite interesting, because she kind of remembers everyone that's kind of worked for the family. And you know, sometimes I get the opportunity to have another conversation, and other times she never ignores you, because what's so special about her is, because when I'm at an event, I try to keep back, because I've had the opportunity to be around them and to know them, and it's an opportunity for other people to get the chance to speak to them. But what's really nice is she always gives you an acknowledgement. So when she sees you and she clocks you, she'll just kind of look over, and she'll you know, she'll just give you that acknowledgement, you know, catch your eye. And it's amazing, because it's a way of kind of going, I see you, you know, I know you're there, that kind of thing, you know, acknowledging you, and then finished off with a smile. You know, it's quite special. Very special lady, very special. I hope you've enjoyed me sharing some of my memories, and it's not too boring, because I think for me, I've had the opportunity to experience these things and from time to time talk to people about them. As you probably tell, I've got many memories, and I enjoy talking about them and sharing them, and I hope you're enjoying them. So, as I said, please keep your comments coming in, even your suggestions, if there's things you want to know, or whether it's to do with my career or with members of the royal family, or even just back to good old etiquette. You know, let me know, because it's always I'm always happy to try to address them in the next conversation, and I'll have a little think about maybe what I could talk to you about next week. As I said, I've had some amazing experiences, and once again, I would love to share them with you. So keep the comments coming in. Please keep liking, and please subscribe to the channel, and also click the little notification button so that you know, and set the reminder so that you know when the videos are coming up, because I'm really grateful for you tuning in and watching them. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if I may say, God save the Queen, and happy birthday, Your Majesty.